Hey beautiful soul, it's jessxgoh. I'm a trauma coach in childhood, emotional and relationship abuse. Let's talk about how to overcome sexual shame. I work with men and women all over the world who suffer from the same problem, regardless of age or gender or cultural background. And I want to share with you, how you can start addressing this core problem. And it's so easy for us to turn to clinical therapy and relationship coaches and healers and all sorts of stuff to try and figure out a way how we can start healing from sexual abuse or shame that we have around our genitals, our sexuality, and our body even. And so here's the thing. I want to share with you my personal experiences of sexual shame and how I was able to overcome it. And it has taken me almost a decade, if not more, to come into terms with my own sexuality as a woman, and that it's okay to feel pleasure. It's okay to feel good about myself. It's okay to dress up and be magnetic and attractive and be proud of my body and what I'm able to achieve and experience in this beautiful vessel of mine. And so here's the thing, I was deeply conditioned about false ideas around sex and sexuality as a woman, as well as men. And so I came from an Asian background. I'm Chinese Malaysian, born and brought up in Sydney, Australia. So there was a lot of different cultural clashes where I was raised up in a really conservative family, and sex was something we don't talk about. And it was never discussed with my parents nor with my mum about transitioning and being a woman and having periods. When I was 10, all I was given was, here's a bag of pads that you can use for your period, and that was it. And so I didn't get that education from my parents around sex and how I should feel about sex and how I should feel about relationships. And as I got older, it got even worse. So when I was 16, I discovered that my dad had a sex addiction. I found porn in his office, on his office desk, porn magazines, and in that porn magazine, as I flipped through them, it was the first time that I've seen a porn mag, I noticed that there was a woman's body in one page, and the head was replaced with a face of a little girl. And that disgusted me, how distorted the porn industry is. And, I found porn videos on my dad's computer. I found that he was filming him having sex with a hooker on his phone. And I found condoms in his trousers when I was doing my laundry. And it just terrified me and disgusted me, the fact that my own father is engaging in porn and hookers and mistresses and cheating behind my mum's back. And the worst thing was, he even took my mum's brother, who is my uncle, two of them, to these brothels. And they were having a whole good time, whereas me and my mum and my brother were left at home or in the warehouse working in the family business while they were having fun with hookers. And so I started to have a lot of hatred and rage towards men, and more so my dad and my uncles, for behaving that way. To be that sort of role model in my family dynamic about how men are be. And I felt so deeply betrayed by my dad that he would rather spend time playing around, hooking around, than to spend time with his own family. And that created a lot of abandonment issues with my father, where he wasn't there physically, emotionally, mentally, and instead what I got from him was show some respect, you're stupid, you're useless. And my mum would tell me that your dad said you need to lose weight. Here, wear this strapless bra, it will make you sexier. Your dad bought it. And as you can imagine how infuriated I was to hear that from my parents. And I was sexually abused by my uncle as well, from my teenage years. And it was a really tough time in my life. 16 to 21 were the toughest years of my life. And I experienced all forms of harassment from my uncle, and he was looking at me, scanning my body, he was whistling at me, he would say that I'm sexy, and he would touch me on my thighs and my torso, and I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe being around in my family. I didn't feel safe to be with men because my uncles and my dad were the very first role model of how a man should be. I saw my brother looking through porn magazines, and my mum wasn't a role model of how a proud and confident and healthy woman should be. And I was told by my aunties and my mum to lose weight because if you want a rich man, you need to lose weight, right? And I was told at the age of 14 with all of these messaging. And this is all cultural conditioning as well. Generational patterns that our previous generation and the previous generation were subscribing to, these false ideas on how a woman's sexuality should be and what we should tolerate, and that sex is perceived as dirty and disgusting, and it's far from the truth. I even had a male cousin who was far more younger than me, and when he knew that I was in a relationship, my first relationship with a man, I was 26 and the guy I was seeing was 42. And he says, "Did you do the dirty deed?" And I said, "Yes." And he's like, "Ew." And he was in his teenage years. And even that response showed how conditioned he was about sex. So here's the thing. I grew up in my 20s and in my early 30s that it's not safe to be feminine. It's not safe to be sensual. And being desired sexually by men was like a normal thing but horrific at the same time. So I had a lot of false beliefs around sex and how a woman should be and about my body. And I hated my body for such a long time. I gained a lot of weight in my high school years and in my 20s. I saw 2 different personal trainers, and I'd done all sorts of diets and exercises, and I still struggled to shed off the weight even more to get to the weight or the body that I want. And it's because I was suppressing a lot of false beliefs around my body and sexual shame and sex, which didn't allow me, it didn't feel safe for my body to reveal that beautiful body that I've always wanted. And so here's the thing, right? There are a few things that you need to know to start addressing these core issues. This is really crucial if you suffer from sexual abuse. This is really crucial if you suffer from sexual shame, where you are shamed by people, by the pornography industry around sex and your body and how you see the opposite sex. So the first things first is, first of all, you need to release the trauma that you're holding on to from sexual abuse, from sexual shame and body shame, that is suppressed in your body, that is suppressed in your energy field, in your psyche, And on an emotional level, in your heart space, that's the first step, releasing trauma. And you might be thinking, how do I release trauma? You know, this requires a professional who knows their stuff, who has walked their walk, just like you, and were able to get to the other side, right? I do not recommend that you seek a professional who hasn't experienced sexual abuse, body shame, sexual shame, and not have gotten results from their own healing journey. What's the point? Because they wouldn't understand your journey. They wouldn't understand your experiences and the beliefs that you're holding around your body and sex, right? So it's really important that you seek out a professional who has walked through your shoes before, who have experienced these concerns, and they were able to find a way to get to the other side. So first of all, you need to release trauma. Second of all, you need to reprogram your beliefs and distortions that you have around your body, sex, and your sexuality. So, as I've mentioned, I've shared with you about how I felt about myself. Shame, disgust, self-hatred, anger, that being a woman is weak, right? And so I shut down my femininity, my softness, my gentleness, my nurture, my compassion, and my sensuality as a woman, because what I've witnessed in my childhood and teenage life and adult life was so horrific that I had to be in my masculine in order for me to be safe as a woman. And this is a common thing for so many women, to be in their masculine energy, to be independent, controlling, I got this, I don't need your help, and push people away. And when you push people away, you're pushing away love, you're pushing away compliments, you're pushing away gifts and money and career opportunities and stuff like that, because you're holding onto shame around yourself. I'm unworthy of receiving love. I'm unworthy of receiving pleasure for my own body and sex, because there's so much shame stored around my womb and in my heart around sex. This is why I'm saying, number one, you need to release trauma in your body, in your psyche, in your energy field, and in your emotions. And so rewiring your beliefs. Write down a list of beliefs that you have right now around sex, your body, and your sexuality, your gender. Then the next thing is write down a list of new beliefs of how you would like to start seeing sex, your body, and your sexuality. This is how you can start reprogramming from sexual shame to supercharge sexuality and sensuality in a healthy way. And the third thing is, how can you start taking action, aligned action, in protecting your sexuality? And what I mean by this is that we can hold on to a sexuality where we could be wide open and engage in one-night stands and flings and stuff like that, hookups, and not have any boundaries around that, right? And so how can you start creating boundaries around your own sexuality? What is healthy and what isn't? And so a lot of distortion that people have when they suffer from sexual shame and sexual abuse is that they would see their body as destruction, and they don't feel safe in their body. They're too ashamed to adore themselves with beautiful clothing and jewelry and makeup and all these sort of things, like grooming their appearances. And so here's the thing. What if you could start to see yourself with love and compassion? And this may take some time to do this, right? This is why it's really important that you hire a professional who can help you to get to the other side and keep you accountable of why you're feeling this way and how you can start reprogramming yourself. And so, you know, the aligned action would be, how can I see myself with love and compassion? How can I love my sexuality? How can I love my body even more? What sort of actions do I need to take to make that happen? So some examples would be, I'm going to make an effort in dressing up as the woman that I want to see. Soft, feminine, and sensual. That could be one example. For a guy, it would be, I want to start wearing clothes that makes me feel masculine and manly and sexy, right? So can you feel that energy? You're feeding yourself this energy that sexuality feels good in a healthy way, in a loving way, not from a distorted place where it's like, no, I can't wear those clothes, I can't look sexy or be attractive, no, because I'm drawing too much attention towards myself, and what that means is that I'll be raped, right? Or I would be used for sex. That's the distorted point of view. Why? Because that's coming up from a place of trauma. You were traumatized, whether it's through sexual abuse, sexual shame, comments that were made, whatever it was, right? You've been traumatized on an emotional level where you shut your sexuality down and it doesn't feel safe to be in your body. So I really hope this resonates. You know, another action would be doing some mirror work, looking at yourself in the mirror and just scanning your body and say, I love you, I forgive you. And this is such a vulnerable activity, right? And not many people are willing to do that because it's really confronting. Another action could be that you could connect with your body more. So massaging your body with coconut oil and your favorite essential oil like ylang-ylang. Ylang-ylang is very sensual, and it's a really beautiful way to physically connect with your body and just touch your body. You know, I love you, this feels good, And you notice as soon as you start reprogramming yourself, you will start to see yourself differently. You're gonna feel like a brand new woman or a brand new man. And these were the things that I had to go through in my healing journey to be the woman that I am today. And yes, I did a lot more work than this, but these are the tools that I could best share with you right now in a video blog, where you can do this on your own. However, I want to say this. It's really important that you understand the masculine and the feminine energies. We do have a wounded masculine, we do have a wounded feminine, and the wounded masculine wants to compete and be right and control and intimidate. And the wounded feminine is about feeling insecure, not safe, and they drift out, they go into fantasy land. And so this is why it's important to understand what sort of energy are you operating from and how you can start integrating, you know, having that healthy masculine energy and that healthy feminine energy, where the feminine energy is about feeling good about yourself, having a healthy self-esteem, right? And then with the healthy masculine, it's about taking action that reinforces those feel-good feelings about yourself. And this is really important because a lot of men and women, more so women, neglect this side of them, the feminine aspect of them, this beautiful feminine energy that is so nourishing, so loving, so forgiving, that we need to feed that energy within ourselves. Because without the feminine energy, we're not able to receive the infinite possibilities of our healing journeys. So as soon as you embody the beautiful divine feminine energy, that's when your healing process is complete with your body shame, with your sexual shame, and your ideas around sex. Because we do need the feminine energy to feel safe, that it's okay for me to receive pleasure while having sex with my beloved, right? And you know, we came here on this earth as a human form for a good reason, to experience pleasure in our life, to experience the infinite possibilities of this beautiful physical vessel that our parents have gifted us, so we can use this physical vessel to do the things that we want to do, right? To go on adventures and hiking and exercising and stretching and yoga and having the most amazing sex with our partner, right? Because that's what we came here to do. We didn't come here to suffer and to feel shit about our bodies and to not have great sex. We didn't come here for that, right? What's the whole point? We can learn from those experiences, 100% we can, right? And we can create better experiences. We can have healthier and better and more pleasurable sex. We can have a much more healthier and loving relationship with our body, with our physical vessel, our temple, right? This is your temple. It's not just a body, it's your temple. What you feed your body, you know, the foods, the water, the energy that you feed to your body, right? Your body is a vehicle for you to experience everything that you deeply desire in life. So it's really important that you love your physical vessel. Treat it like a temple and not trash it, right? It's really sacred to love our body. So I really hope that this serves you. And if you are looking for a professional help, a mentor, a coach and healer who specializes in sexual abuse, sexual shame and trauma, particularly childhood trauma and conditioning that you have around sex and body shame and sexual shame, come and book a free clarity call with myself in the link below. And this free call on Zoom will go for 30 minutes, if not a little bit more, to see if trauma recovery is right for you. And if it isn't, I will do my very best to point you out into the right direction and to learn what sort of results that you can experience from trauma recovery. So who is trauma recovery for? It's for you if you suffer from sexual abuse, relationship abuse, dysfunctional family dynamics, low self-esteem, high anxiety levels, satanic ritual abuse, right? Sexual shame, body shame, emotional abuse, and you're wanting to find a holistic way that's going to help you address the root cause of these problems and get to the other side where you feel entitled to feel confident and comfortable in your own skin, to love the beautiful person that you are inside out, and to be sustainable in your healing journey ahead. This is for you. Click on the link below and book that call within myself, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side. And if you found that this video blog has been quite helpful, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and share this video with your loved ones who could truly feel that this content can help them and start getting insights as to why they're feeling this way. It's not because all of a sudden you felt this way, it's because you're dealing with the impacts of childhood trauma, sexual abuse, body shame, sexual shame, and hardcore conditioning from your cultural background. So I really hope this serves you, and blessing you with all of my love.